Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing a not so spooky floating ghost card. This ghost has an element. It's an easy interactive element that may give you a clue that makes it appear like it's floating on the front of the card. And for today's card, I'm using brand new products from Pretty Pink Posh. These are a part of their August release, and I did share a project with some of the August release products last week. And so I thought I'd pop back in and share another project with you. This project is part of an Instagram hop celebrating this release. So be sure to join me over on Instagram for plenty more inspiration, and there are prizes as well. I'll have my Instagram linked below. I'm starting out by doing my die cutting from some various colors of cardstock, and this is the Ghost Holder die set from Pretty Pink Posh. It's adorable because the ghost has a face that you can either choose to die cut into it or you can leave it plain. It also has arms that kind of swing out and allow you to place things in the ghost's arms. So there's a pumpkin and a bag. Today I'm going to use the pumpkin, and I've die cut the pumpkin from some orange cardstock, and I also have some bright green cardstock for the stem. And I pulled out a couple of dies from the big birthday cupcake die set from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm die cutting those from some cardstock as well. Now I also used the spider web border die, which is brand new, also from Pretty Pink Posh. And I'm just kind of mixing and matching some of the die sets that I've already owned and some of the newer stuff to create this card. Now, once I have all of my die cutting completed, I'm just going to go ahead and put these pieces together. So I have the center of the bow that I'm adding on with some liquid glue, and then I'll adhere the tails of the banner onto the kind of center portion of the banner. And I like to offset these just a little bit low and to the side so that you get kind of that true waving banner feel. And you'll see that I also die cut the word boo 2 additional times from some plain white cardstock. I'm going to stack those up behind the word that I die cut from some gold cardstock to give it a little dimension on that banner. I'm going to end up adhering this to the banner and using one of the spider webs from that spider web border die to kind of create a little accent there. Now, once I adhere the stem to the back of the pumpkin, I'm going to place this pumpkin inside the ghost's arms. So I'm just popping those out. The die creates those pop-up arms, and I'm sliding the pumpkin into the ghost's arms. Now, the cool thing about this die is not only are there other dies that you can die cut and place in the pumpkin's arms, but you could also use this for like a $1 bill or a $5 bill. Maybe you want to put a $20 bill. I don't know. Maybe you're rolling. I'm not throwing $20 bills in a Halloween card, but anyway, you get the point. You can put other things in the ghost's arm. And you saw me just take a piece of mushroom colored cardstock and place that behind the ghost's face so that I have that dark coloring behind the eyes and the mouth. And now I'm adhering the bow on top of the ghost's head. Now I grabbed one of the Eyelet rectangle dies from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm die cutting that from some white cardstock. I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling on this die cut using the Halloween Words stencil from the new August release. And I decided that on this die cut, I only wanted the stenciled words to be within that center rectangle of the die cut. I didn't want any of the stenciling to go over onto the eyelet part. So what I'm doing is taking a little bit of mint tape. This is from scrapbook.com, and I'm masking off those scallops on the outside of this rectangle. Now there is a little stitched line that kind of separates the scallops from the inner rectangle. So I'm just using that to help me line up my Post-it tape here or my masking tape. And once I have all of those areas masked off, I will place the Halloween word stencil right over that center, line it up. I'll hold it in place with some of these giant magnets, which are available from Glassboard Studio. These are their brand new like mega magnets, and I will have them linked in the YouTube description below. Super powerful and perfect for holding things in place on your Glassboard Studio mat, which is what I'm working on today. So now that my stencil is securely in place, I am going to grab some Pebble ink. This is from Concord and Ninth, and a blending brush, and I'm just going to blend over this stencil to add a little bit of shading and shadow with this stencil. Now, I chose a really light gray color because I wanted it to kind of fade into the background. I didn't want it to take center stage, but this is a great way to add a little bit of texture and depth to the card without adding extra layers. So once I have that all inked, I will go ahead and remove the stencil and reveal the words that have been kind of transferred or inked on to my piece here. Now, something I did want to mention as I go ahead and remove the stencil and the masking is that I die cut my ghost from some Ivory cardstock. I just thought that was a fun way to kind of add a little bit of contrast between the ghost and the background that I'm creating, but without making my ghost like a specific color. I knew I wanted to use a lot of white on the background, but I didn't want to necessarily have a colored ghost, and so I used some Ivory cardstock. I cleaned up my stencil there using some rubbing alcohol that I keep in a spray bottle and a microfiber cloth. And now we're going to add that magic floating element. And if you already guessed it, good for you. I am using an action wobbler on the back of this ghost. Now, this is a fun way to create a wobbling and kind of floating effect for this ghost and also give it a little bit of dimension. And if you joined me for my YouTube live stream a couple of weeks ago, you saw me use a mini action wobbler on one of my cards. These are just quick and easy ways to add something kind of fun and interactive. It doesn't add a lot of bulk. It's easy to do. Anybody could do it. And you can place an action wobbler or a mini action wobbler behind any die cut or layer of paper that you may have and give it that moving effect. And you can see how the ghost looks like it's floating on the front of this card. Now, many people ask me how to put the action wobbler. Is there a proper way? And the truth of the matter is, no matter which way you place your action wobbler onto your card, so if you place the clear side down or the clear side up, the spring action of the action wobbler will work. However, I prefer to place the clear side of my action wobbler on the card so that when you're looking from the side and you can see kind of behind that ghost, you're going to see that clear portion instead of the more solid, heavier, bulky plastic piece. So that's just how I prefer to do it. So that's how I placed it on my card today. Now I'm finishing off my card by adhering a few of these items. I've added that banner onto my card front using some foam adhesive, and I'm adding a few details to my ghost, including some little cheeks with a Copic marker. I'm adding some shimmer around the outside of that using my Tonic Aqua Shimmer Pen, and I also added a little bit of white gel pen detail to the pumpkin that the ghost is holding. Now, to add this card front onto my light gray card base, I am using a panel of foam adhesive. If you've never checked out my video on how I make my own foam adhesive, I will put a card to that in the upper right-hand corner here so you can check that out. I'm still using this, but now I'm using the scrapbook.com adhesive, which is great and easy to find for this DIY foam adhesive. So now you can see I have my card front in place. I have my little floating ghost. I finished off the card by adding some sparkling clear sequins to give this a little more shimmer and shine. And I love the way that this little ghost, she's a friendly little ghost. I love the way she kind of just floats on the front of this card project. This is very easy to put together, something fun that you could do with kids or grandkids as well, because this really is an easy card. Now, as I mentioned before, this card is part of an Instagram hop celebrating the brand new August 2024 release from Pretty Pink Posh. So if you want to check that out, be sure to click the YouTube description below. I will have a link to my Instagram profile over there so you can join us. Also, I will have a link to my blog post, and over there you'll find more still shots, more details, and a complete list of supplies. And I'll be sure to share a list of links to the featured supplies used in this project in the YouTube description below. As always, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here so you don't miss any of the paper crafting and card making video tutorials I share, as well as my YouTube live streams. So I hope you'll join me again. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.